Cullentra House Stables to speak to Gordon Elliott about some of his leading lights for the up-and-coming Cheltenham Festival.
I think we're back probably where we were 2017, 2018, you know. It took us a few years to obviously get that calibre of horse again, but I think we have a good team, and if we get a bit of luck and running, there's no reason to say why we shouldn't have a couple of winners. I
suppose to start off with the leading lady of the pack, Brighterdaysahead. She was awesome at Leopardstown at the Dublin Racing Festival, and you have to go in with loads of confidence this year into potentially what might be the champion hurl for her.
Yeah, to be honest, I think at the moment more than likely it's going to be the champion, most definitely I'd say. She's had a good preparation. She's only 2 runs underneath her belt. She's going there fresh. She looks great. You know, obviously it's not ideal. She hasn't won in her 2 runs at Cheltenham, but I think the first year she ran a very good race. Just didn't happen on the day. You know, last year we had a reason. Obviously, as you know, she had a little issue with her knee, but we've rectified that, and she seems in a good place. We're very, very happy with her. Look, we've been to the champion hurdle obviously with 2 mares before, being close to favourite in Apple's Jade and the mare last year. So we're not going to underestimate anything. But we're really looking forward to it, and I think she's in great form, and I'm looking forward to the race.
I suppose the public persona is that she doesn't act in Cheltenham. I think we'd both disagree with that, would we?
Yeah, definitely, to be honest. I think she didn't do anything wrong the last day, or the first day, sorry. Jack, I'll tell you, I don't think him and Paul were looking at each other. And I think Golden Ace, you know, who's a super mare in her own right, came and bet both of them. Yeah, look, obviously it's not ideal, but we'll do a few things different this year. We might stable her somewhere different, change a few things around travelling her, but it doesn't concern me. I suppose the reason it doesn't is if she hadn't have won in the UK before, it probably would be a bigger worry. But she's been to Aintree and she was awesome. So for me, it's a concern, but it's not a massive worry.
Moving on to Romeo Coolio, he has a couple of options for the Cheltenham Festival. How did you feel watching that Grade 1 at Leopardstown?
I'd say my heart rate was up and down massively watching that race. I mean, it was a brilliant race, I'd say, for a neutral to watch. You know, they went at breakneck speed the whole way, proper 2-mile stuff. Look, he's in great form. He's come out of the race well. You know, he'd be quiet for a few days after it, which is to be expected. He had a very hard race. Obviously, ground dependent whether it'll be the Arkle or it'll be the 3-mile race. My initial feeling is that he probably is more of a 2.5, 3-mile horse, but just whether we go that far with him at this stage of his career, you know, I think we're dreaming and training of him to be a Gold Cup horse. So maybe the Arkle probably would be the race to go this year. I think if he's in firing distance turning in, he'll come home very strong. Just hope he doesn't lose his position coming down the hill too much, to be honest.
You have a strong hand in the stayers. Honesty Policy, who looks like the young pretender, Tiapu, who's been there, done that. How are they shaping up so far?
Both horses are in good form, Lisa. Obviously, you know, Tiapu, he's been there and done it. It's hard to believe someone said he's 9. You know, he doesn't feel like he's around the pace that long or he's that old, but he's in very, very good form. His last run in Leopardstown is arguably as good as a run as he ever had. Really looking forward to the stayers with him. Obviously, the softer the ground, the better the chance he has. Doesn't have to have real soft ground. I mean, Leopardstown last day wasn't that bad, and Punchestown last year he won it. But I think he's just really effective when it's more hard work for everything else. Honesty Policy, I think he's his biggest danger going into the race this year. I was really impressed with his run in Ascot. I loved the way he hit the line. I think we learned an awful lot by him. You know, he really is a stayers hurdle horse. I'd have loved to got a run into him, but the ground has just been so soft, Lisa. He's not the biggest, robust horse in the world, and I wasn't really that keen to run him, you know, 5 weeks out from Cheltenham. But I think he could be dangerous, and he'll be coming home very strong.
Would who? We remember last year, obviously, Cheltenham was painful enough. It was a difficult time, obviously. The horses were running really well, but just weren't getting the winners. And Wood Who was the one who gave you that emotional win in the final race of the day, on the final day of the week. She goes back to Cheltenham, potentially taking on a couple in the mayor's race. She goes there with a big chance.
Yeah, look, as you know, like, she's so unassuming at home, like nothing really phases her. She's not a fancy workhorse, but yeah, as you alluded to there, like, you know, Cheltenham, you know, if the horses had been running bad all week, you'd have your head in the ground, you'd be half depressed, and to get a winner, it'd be more of a relief. But I suppose the emotion of hitting the crossbar with so many horses during the week, whether it was second, third, fourth. They were running well, but it was just, not just for me, for all the staff in the yard. Everyone works so hard, as to get there, and we all put so much into it. And it is sport, and everything doesn't always go right for you. But that, to win the last race and the last day, it was like winning the Gold Cup to me. It was just it was just like just draining everything out of your body. But look, she was a great mare. It was just such a buzz when she won. She's owned by a good bunch of friends of mine, and she's a great mare. She's only been beaten once by Lossie Mount. I think it was her first run out of open company. She's
an unbelievable record.
Yeah.
10 runs for you, only beaten once.
Yeah. Look, to be honest, she's something else. And as you know, the thing I love about her is she's not fancy at home. You never really know what's under the bonnet or where she's going to go to. But she's a great attitude, and she wants to win.
Was it just a sense of relief as well that day?
Oh, it was more relief, yeah. Well, it was relief, yeah. And just to say you got one winner, I drive myself on the whole time, and it's winners I want, I'm driven by them. But I suppose the fact the horses were running well, I was probably trying to convince myself, it's okay, look, we haven't got a winner, but they're running well. But just to get that one winner, it's an amazing feeling.
Personally, I thought you dealt with it a lot better than I thought you would have done.
Yeah, I think, as you know, Lisa, I'm getting a bit older now, and I probably deal with it a lot better. But look, you just got to keep smiling, don't you?
I suppose moving on to the novice hurlers, you have a nice hand in them as well. We'll start off with El Carrios. We seen him out in the gallop this morning. He looks great. He's not a big horse, but he's a ball of speed. I'd say your heart was in your mouth the last at Thurles.
It was, to be honest. I was standing down close to the last, and I said, oh my God, this doesn't have to happen again. But I think we'll have learned an awful lot by Thurles. I think he's a horse you want to have just coming at the last. Whether he loses concentration or what, I don't know, but he's a very fast horse. I think Jack will have learned a lot by him. Thurles wasn't the ideal conditions, and as you know, I was even him and Han about running him. But I was very keen to get running to him with the ground being so soft, not to run him too close to Cheltenham. Because he's not the biggest horse. He's not our typical horse we buy. He's a small, very fast horse. But he's a good horse, and I think the Supreme Novice will suit him. I think we'll drop him in, take our time, and be having one go going to the last.
Ballyfad, I know you've a couple of options with him. If Cheltenham was tomorrow, where would you be siding with?
If the ground was like it is here now today in Cheltenham, you probably would have to be thinking about the Supreme Novice, but there's a lot to happen with the ground over the next 4 weeks. My own gut feeling is I think the 2-5 race could suit him better on okay ground. But we'll wait and see where the ground is, and obviously you have to have a chat with Michael and Eddie and see what they'd like to do. But my own gut feeling is I think 2-5 could suit him better.
Western Fold, I think he's a horse that we both really like. He's continued to surprise you as the season has progressed, from handicaps to Grade 1 company. I think he's got a great chance in the Brown Advisory.
To be honest, I'd have to agree with you. He's so much experience, and he's ran really well out of open company, in the race up and down Royal. As you know, he's only back with us less than a month when he ran in the DRF over 2 mile 5. Jack rode him kindly as he was told. We didn't want to knock him around, but I think the Brown Advisor really suit him. I think he's hard and he's tough. He's loads of experience, and I think he'll be coming home very strong. The
cross country race you've always been very successful in. Obviously you've Favre Jadamdu, who proved himself over the track in January time. He was very impressive. You've got the Goffer in there as well. I think he could run well off a lightweight too.
Yeah, the Goffer will be slipping down the handicap, could really suit him. Just whether he'll stay at Trip, Lisa, it'd be my worry. I could see him travelling well there, turning in, and just whether he'd get home over the last 2 furlongs would be a concern for me. Conflate could run back in it. He was placed in Punchestown over the banks as well. But Fabio, you'd have to say, is our main horse in it. I really was impressed with the way he won the last day in Cheltenham. I was even impressed with him the time before when he fell. He was really taken to it, and he just took off too early at the water jump and kind of landed in it. But he's in a good place at home, and really happy with him. Be interesting if Stumptown runs. I think that'll kind of suit us. Whether we're good enough to beat him or not, I wouldn't know. But if he runs, we'll probably be £5 to £7 behind him in the handicap, and I think that could play into our hands. We're not just going around with real top weight, and if he does run, he'll keep a lot of horses in the bottom out of the handicap. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Keep him company in the Champion Bumper. He's a horse that seems to race behind the bridle, but he gallops generously towards the line. He hit the line really well at Leopardstown.
Yeah, to be fair, you know, I think a lot of him. I think he's a horse we're going to read about a lot in the future. You know, he's a big 3 mile chaser. We'd probably want the ground a bit in the easier side to see him really at his best, but I love his attitude. Like in Leopardstown that day, halfway down the back, he was probably going as quick as he could and he had his head out, but like he's such an attitude over the last 2 furlongs. He dropped his head lower and lower the whole way to the line and galloped. I think he's a horse you're definitely going to read about a lot in the future, just depending on ground. If the ground was on a bit of the slower side, I could see him with a massive chance in the bumper. Probably a race we'll run 3 or 4 in it. You know, Casimari Kid won a very good race. We hadn't gotten that long in Leopardstown with no limits. You know, we could run Broadway Ted. I'd say we could run 3 or 4 in the race, but yeah, we've got a lot of nice horses for the bumper, but you know, probably a lot of the horses we buy are a bit big 3 mile chasers, so you know, whether they're quick enough, you probably could do with the ground being on the slower side, to be honest.
Oldschool Outlaw, she's been highly impressive, unbeaten since she joined you. She obviously goes for the mare's Novice against Bambino Fever again, but she's beaten her already. I
was impressed at my mare the last day. I loved the way she hit the line. And as you know at home, like, to me, she's improving the whole time. She looks better every time you see her. You know, she's getting stronger and she's going the right way. She wants to win. I think the race will suit her well and she'll come home very, very strong.